Agit Kabayel. Agit Kabayel, born September 23, 1992, is a leading German heavyweight boxer, standing 1.91 meters tall with a reach of 2.03 meters. With an undefeated record of 27 wins, including 19 by knockout, Kabayel is renowned for his intelligent, tenacious, and highly effective fighting style. He's a two-time European champion and holds the interim WBC heavyweight title from 2025. Ranked world number 2 by the Ring and Box Rec in early 2026, Kabayel is a giant hunter of the modern heavyweight division, always ready to challenge any champion. Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk, born on January 17, 1987 in Ukraine, is one of 2012 Olympic gold medal to his position as the undisputed champion in both the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions. Usyk has conquered and held the top positions with the prestigious WBA Super, WBC, WBO, IBO, and the Ring IBF heavyweight belts. With his exceptional technique, tactical intelligence, and iron will, he is considered
He's just looking at Dubois' body and then throws it up to the chin. I mean, this guy is an extraordinary sportsman. He really is. And Daniel Dubois trying to force it back on the ropes. And I like to have fun.
Oleksandr Usyk versus the Viso Michunu. On December 17th, 20...
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning and defending WBA heavyweight champion,
Agit Kabayel versus Arslanbek Makhmudov. On December 23, 2023, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, boxing fans focused their attention on Arslanbek Makhmudov, the undefeated giant with a record of destroying opponents with his hammer-like punches. Many believed that Agit Kabayel was just another victim on the Russian boxer's journey to the top. But boxing is always a sport of surprises. From the very first round, Kabayel stunned the audience. Instead of backing down in the face of his larger opponent's power, he proactively closed the distance, moved intelligently, and constantly counterattacked with razor-sharp punches. Makhmudov still threw heavy blows, but each time he swung his arm, Kabayel found space to respond. The first 3 rounds passed in astonishment. The undefeated giant began to show signs of discomfort. Makhmudov's powerful punches were no longer as fearsome as usual, while Kabayel became increasingly confident as the fight progressed. He moved with the agility of a hunter, slowly wearing down his giant prey. Then, the 4th round came like a storm. Kabayel unexpectedly shifted his target to the torso. Punches to the ribs and stomach made Makhmudov wince in pain. Before the audience could recover, the giant had fallen for the first time. He managed to get up, but his legs were no longer steady. Kabayel rushed in like a whirlwind, continuing to unleash accurate blows. A second, then a third, fell in quick succession. Makhmudov was no longer an invincible knockout machine, but a giant tower crumbling piece by piece. Finally, the referee had to intervene and declare a TKO victory for Agit Kabayel. A glorious night in Riyadh. The underdog transformed the ring into his own stage, extending his winning streak to 24 fights and sending a stern warning to the entire heavyweight world. Agit Kabayel is no longer an unknown name. He has truly entered the ranks of the giant hunters.
I don't care how big and scary and intimidating you are, body shots make cowards of us all. Kabayel taking full of breath. Does he step forward now to finish the job? And that's enough, says the Bray. The body shots all over again. Yes, twice. So smart, the variation
The right hand over the top.
See right here, Makhmudov didn't want nothing to do with body shots anymore. Those two shots right there.
It was also variation with the body shots. He wasn't predictable. It wasn't just hooks. He was setting the traps, and you can.
This is just a reminder as we get towards the real heat of the bill that anything can happen in this game.
A little, it's escalating into what's going to explode. I mean, it's going to be something big. These were.
And not get hurt in the process.
And Agit Kabayel in with
Agit Kabayel versus Derek Chisora. On November 4th, 2017, in the glamorous Monte Carlo of Monaco, Derek Chisora stepped into the ring as a former WBC World Champion contender, bringing with him extensive experience and the reputation of an unyielding warrior. Facing him was Agit Kabayel, the undefeated European champion, a name not yet widely known to boxing fans around the world. From the start of the fight, Chisora adopted the demeanor of a seasoned veteran. He moved slowly and patiently, like a hunter waiting for the opportune moment to deliver the finishing blow. However, Kabayel had no intention of being prey. The German fighter moved with agility, strategically positioning himself and unleashing lightning-fast combinations of punches, leaving Chisora with few opportunities to punch empty air. The audience expected the familiar storm of punches from Del Boy, but Kabayel turned the fight into a test of speed and strategy. Whenever Chisora closed in, Kabayel would instantly turn to evade, then retaliate with perfectly executed jabs and straights. After the 6th round, Chisora began to pick up the pace. He charged forward, determined to turn the tide, unleashing powerful hooks that thrilled the audience. However, Kabayel maintained incredible composure. He cleverly dodged, counterattacked sharply, and continued to accumulate points with each round. When the final bell rang, Chisora knew he had endured a difficult night.
Chisora bring all that experience over the years.
This is the way when he's in range, but Kabayel shows he looks up for it.
There are many good fights to be made.
As the distance closes in, having his
Punch, Chisora. Certainly, you know, he's had a hard upbringing as well. Looking so well.
he maybe had his back.
Likes of Carlos Takam against him, maybe. Well in defeat, over 12 rounds. Was meant to share a ring at one point with Vlad.
As well for a heavyweight.
Here in the build-up, he got fined. It was, you know, right hand.
Look at the takes and
As you said, unsavoury, and the gloves are off. But he was really, and I know heavyweights can finish. Keeps trying, keeps coming forward, always. Zimbabwe, and Fury was too much for him. Second time he
really needs to unload 4 or 5 explosive looking punches.
pretty much everything to the champion.
Score many rounds if Duck and then puts a couple of body shots. We're not going to see what Kabayel
And his jab, at least Chisora, but walks into another. And it is a gear, a little bit like a sparring session. And I think we mentioned
hands like we saw earlier, so he's doing the right things here, Kabayel. Being Spartan is a decent addition to the heavyweight division.
The judges scored the fight 115-113, 115-114, and 114-114, awarding Agit Kabayel the victory by majority decision. There was no knockout, no crushing victory, but it was a triumph of intellect over brute force, of mobility over close-range combat. That Monte Carlo night witnessed the birth of a new star. Kabayel not only successfully defended his European Championship belt, but also sent a powerful message that he was ready to step onto the big stage of the World Heavyweight division.
Luis Ortiz has been shamed, obviously, in recent weeks. Tyson Fury still going the distance and seeing, you know, maybe punches.
Snowden is behind on the card, so he's going to have to.
It's great to see from Chisora, really going for it at the end, but it was lefts and rights. And Kabayel said, come on in.
But I doubt they can be given the round to Chisora because he's enough to win the rounds. I mean, that's in my humble opinion. But he's having a good go.
That was what we saw that night in Manchester. And still he's light on his feet and he's taken Chisora's. Have others. Sorry, Chisora slips on the sweat of the canvas. Very well known to British viewers.
And those globally. Agit Kabayel.
Oleksandr Usyk versus Derek Chisora. On October 31st, 2020, in London, Oleksandr Usyk faced one of his biggest challenges since moving up to the heavyweight division, Derek Chisora, the British tank with his muscular strength and aggressive close-range fighting style. From the opening bell, Chisora charged forward like an enraged rhino. He pressured, chased, and relentlessly threw heavy, hammer-like punches to crush his opponent. With a weight advantage of nearly 17 kilograms, Chisora wanted to turn the fight into a street brawl rather than a boxing match. But Usyk was a different story. The Ukrainian cat wouldn't stand still and let anyone hunt him. He glided with fluid, almost dancing steps, constantly changing angles and landing precise jabs. The more aggressive Chisora became, the calmer Usyk remained. The early rounds saw Chisora exert a lot of pressure, exciting the audience. However, as the fight progressed, the difference in physical fitness and technique became apparent. Chisora was breathing heavily, his punches losing their power. Meanwhile, Usyk moved tirelessly, as if he had just stepped into the ring. From the 9th round onwards, Chisora was like a tank running out of fuel, while Usyk became a cold-blooded sharpshooter, consistently hitting his target. The former undisputed cruiserweight champion's sharp counterattacks left the British fighter completely powerless to turn the tide. After 12 tense rounds, Usyk won by unanimous decision. He didn't knock out Chisora, but he defeated him with an even more formidable weapon: intelligence, technique, and endurance. When the fight ended, Usyk looked directly into the cameras and delivered his famous message. "Anthony Joshua, how are you? I'll come find you." It wasn't just a victory, it was a declaration of war from a king on his way to conquering the heavyweight division.
Extremely fit from the...
What does Usyk feel under any pressure? Really?
Chisora. Now and Chisora.
I don't know, Matt, doesn't he just need to try and...
In the world, but he's still a 15.5 stone man, cracking it hard.
Half stone on his debut up from cruiserweight to this boxing wizard.
Zora now as well. He might start.
6th round. Poor skills as he gets around the rings. Left hand from Usyk, but it's war of attrition, but is that...
Comparing the skills of the two fighters, if we use Derek Chisora as a benchmark, we'll see something very interesting. Both Oleksandr Usyk and Agit Kabayel defeated the British tank, but the way they did it shows two completely different dangerous styles. First, in terms of skill, Usyk is clearly superior. When facing Chisora in 2020, Usyk was like a chess player, controlling each move on the chessboard. He used superior footwork, constantly changing angles, dodging, and counterattacking accurately. Chisora, with a weight advantage of nearly 17 kilograms, still couldn't subdue the Ukrainian cat. That's the class of an absolute champion. Meanwhile, Kabayel, when facing Chisora in 2017, also showed very flexible footwork and excellent distance control. However, he leaned more towards pragmatism than artistry. Kabayel's jabs, straight punches, and well-timed movements helped him accumulate points, but he didn't create the same overwhelming dominance as Usyk. In terms of power, Kabayel probably has the advantage. His victory over Chisora by points doesn't say much, but in the years that followed, he consistently knocked out giants like Arslanbek Makhmudov and Frank Sanchez with incredibly brutal body strikes. Kabayel isn't a one-shot fighter, but his ability to wear down his opponent is terrifying. As for overall danger, Usyk remains the more prominent name. He not only possesses an excellent technique, but also has an almost perfect ability to read the fight and adapt. Chisora once tormented many fighters with his relentless pressure, but against Usyk, he gradually became like a tank running out of fuel. If Kabayel is a relentless predator, knowing how to wear down his opponent little by little, then Usyk is like a master of the ring who can win by any means: speed, tactics, physical strength, and intelligence. Therefore, based on what they showed against Derek Chisora, Usyk still has the edge in skill and refinement, while Kabayel excels in physical strength and the ability to inflict lasting damage on his opponent. In short, Kabayel is an extremely dangerous heavyweight fighter, but Usyk is a heavyweight legend whose next chapter in world boxing history is being written. TRIDINGO's prediction: Usyk wins by points after 12 rounds with a margin of approximately 65-35. Kabayel will have moments of difficulty with pressure and body strikes, but the Ukrainian cat's superb footwork, control of distance, and tactical intelligence will likely allow him to control the fight. To defeat Usyk, it's not just about strength, but also about capturing him. And to date, that remains a challenge that very few fighters in the world have solved.